My son is 11 months. He's always rejecting food. When he sees the food, he begins to cough and will not swallow it. He will not want to eat at all, and he wants to know if there's a problem.
Again, this child is really young, 11 months old. So I would say that the parents should take it easy for the child. Now, what happens sometimes when we start to introduce complementary feeding is that we are so much in a hurry for the children to eat a lot. We forget that their tummies are very small. We forget that is also learning for them, especially if you did exclusive breastfeeding or if you were even on formula, because it's just liquid. So when you now introduce the semi-solids, we forget that it's a learning process for them. And so we need to take time for them. The other thing is that when we forget about these things, and around 11 months old, at this age, the children sort of are developing a will of their own. They want to do stuff for themselves. Some of them want to feed themselves, but when they feed, then they get all messy, the floor is messy, and it creates more work for you. Or you are going somewhere and they will take forever to do that thing that they call eating, and then you are in a hurry. So you don't want to allow them to do all these things, but that is part of learning for them as well, because when they do that, they are practicing their hand skills. That's fine motor, which is very good. They are learning coordination. You need to take the food and take it to your mouth. But sometimes, because this is very inconvenient for us parents, and because really we are in a hurry, I want to go to work. So we don't want them to do these things. And they have a will of their own. At this age, they are really prone to tantrums. So it makes it like feeding time becomes a battleground. It's such a battleground that when it goes on without any intervention, something may happen. That is called food aversion. As soon as the child sees the food, the child is in war mood. As soon as the child sees the food, the child is in war mood. Child sees food and then so this story could also be that. But what I want to say is that as parents, when we start introducing the semi-solids to our children, it's a learning process for them. It must be fun. It must be like a game. Sometimes you actually need to line up the toys. When this toy takes one, the next one takes one, they all take, then it's the child's turn and he takes. So we must make it as joyful as possible. And the presentation of the food too, it must be nice. The plates, the bowls, those things also need to be nice and colorful. Let's make it playtime. And let's remember that for them, they don't know that you are in a hurry. They don't know that you think that they must eat all the food. They are just taking their time. They are learning. They are playing. So let's allow them to have that. It helps a lot. It's a lot of learning that is going on. But when you take these things from them, as soon as they see the food, this is the time to fight. And 11, they are really prone to tantrum. Sometimes when they say they won't do something, it will end in tears. So let's just take it easy for them. Yeah. But if this persists, then more help is needed. Because if this is the issue, a lot more help is needed. You need to look, okay, is it a swallowing problem or is it just food aversion, as I'm saying, and then the right things can be done for them. Yes, but when we start complementary feeding, let's take it easy for them.
Doc, talking about aversion reminds me of a parent I saw feeding her child porridge, and she literally was scooping it with her hands and held the child's nose and was forcing it down. And I think that experience, and that child, I mean, she's a teenager now, but she really, really doesn't like eating. Could our feeding techniques impact the eating habits of our children?
Feeding techniques impact the feeding habits of our children. There must be a stage where you provide the right food, even if it is small. I mean, so balanced that you know that even if the child takes 2 scoops, the child is getting that 2 scoops is balanced. And then, like I'm saying, to take it easy, the children must learn to associate feeding with or eating with enjoyment. But when the children learn that feeding time is battle time, then in the long run, it doesn't augur well. At this moment in time, you may be able to force the child to fill the tummy, but in the long run, it doesn't go well. And what you said, holding a child's nose and forcing food down their throats, sometimes it can be a matter of life and death. If the food goes the wrong way, because you can actually kill your child by doing that. Yes, a lot of us get away with it, but you can kill your child by forcing food down your child's throat. If the food goes into the lungs, very bad pneumonia, the child will need to be in hospital on oxygen, antibiotics. You lose time away from work, you pay hospital bills, and not every child makes it out of it. Yes, so it's a very bad thing
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. Thank you so much, Doc. For some of you listening to us, you may think, oh, I wouldn't do that. I'm too posh. But hey, just check it out. Maybe your nanny or your house help may be forcing food down your baby's throat when you're not there. So, I mean, this is just good education for all of us here on Home Affairs. And our aim is to make homes out of houses.